so to say, or sexual exploitation. And what about conduct? Children sometimes also have kind of sexual contact with other children. So that's what we call, for instance, sexting. If they make a very sexy picture of themselves and then they send it to their parents. Some of the children also feel like isolated, excluded. Some comments, some things happen on Facebook, or sometimes it's even something positive or about schoolwork, and some children miss out opportunities or important information because they are not there. So it's not up to us to tell the parents, look, it's good for your child to be on Facebook, or look, it's bad. It's important that we teachers, for the director of the school, and for you teachers to bring back to the school, find out what are the free tools that you can use to make the online experience safer. But don't block everything. I mean, that will create, what you will create that children won't use the PCs at school anymore, and they will start...
Hate on me in a negative way. That's cyberbullying, and you are not your hater. It's important that you understand that definition. You understand that because it's easy to slip into that. I want to make sure everybody knows that. So, break it down like this.
Ne, znaju li uopće, jer im poznat pojam.
Dobro, onda?
Yes, you know what is Facebook, MySpace.
Društveni.
Darko had a great idea of a domino game to write also examples of these different kinds of bullying so that they have to match, for example,
messages like this, which, why would you go onto internet if you couldn't speak with the people you meet there? And what is a stranger? So there were messages like that. In 2004, the European Commission decided it was making duplication of efforts, it was losing money. There were still big gaps. The messages weren't evidence-based. So somehow they had to link all of this up and make it a coherent whole. So that's evidence-based. Now, how can you do this in the classroom? How can you make sure that what you're teaching kids about e-safety is really based on evidence, and you're not teaching them things that they're not so interested? Because we all know a young person will listen if it touches him or her in their own experience. So without prying into a child's life, how can you do this? How can you understand the very issues that they want to talk about right now?
Moramo izrezati.
To ćemo malo porezati što nam je više. Da, prvo po...
Samo jedne škarice.
Dobro da imamo i njih.
So, one of the key things of this future classroom lab space is trying to change the mindset, the way of thinking that was pointed out by one of you, and maybe the motivation of the key people who are involved in education systems. So, you mentioned parents, maybe, and even students. So we try to get into this space here, parents' associations. Okay, so it's usually the European Association of Parent Associations, so it's everyone right at the top, and hopefully they will communicate to the national parent associations, etc. Those kind of things.
But one of the core features is the assessment form, and which can lead to accreditation. So basically, it's a, it's said here, it's a form of 30 questions from the areas infrastructure, practice, and policy. So why only 30 questions? We have a lot more questions, but I think it shouldn't be, we didn't want to give you 50, 60, 100 questions, because I know you don't have so much time either. Nobody does. And so,
like you participate or you don't participate, or you try to attend and you fail. Now it's more possibilities for everybody to participate in different ways. Manipulation for Roger Hart was something where adults manipulate. Do you have that word in Croatian?
Yes,
exactly.
It's the same word.
Yeah, yeah. Youth to do some things, and they're forced to attend without a regard to their interests. So they are just forced to attend for the sake of attending.
In the same way, do they need other measures from us? I'm sure they do. And that's why I want to say, if we talk about children, we have to categorize. We also have to not only categorize by age, but categorize by type of contact also. I don't know if you heard about this categorization yet? Did you talk about it with Veronica or anybody else? No? So in Europe, they have 4 categories. They have illegal content. That's what we talked about before, the real piracy, it's plagiarism, it's child abuse images, it's really what's in the law, in legislation, in your country, in my country, that's really illegal content. And the justice system can do something about it, if they have the skills, of course, and if they know how to deal with it, but actually something can be done, something must be done, the society has to react.
No, I think I can use some.
Okay, so actually this was also one of the question that I had later on. What are the things that you are going to do differently after this training? I mean, I assume you were doing some of the things in safety. Now that you did this training, what are you going to do differently? I mean, what ideas?
To modify the approach to children and to parents,